All right, we are live on Las Vegas Triathlon Club Facebook page. We're recording. I'm John Mercer, president of Las Vegas Triathlon Club. We've got board member Bob Gamble. Hey, Bob, how's it going?
It's going fine, doctor. How you doing?
Oh, doing good. It's Thursday night and a time to get to know another member.
Yes, it is.
And this is going to be a lot of fun because we have a new member and someone who's new to triathlon. And so this is going to be a lot of fun to hear her story, getting involved and finding the club as well and really getting engaged. So we got Maggie Martinez, and I'm going to turn it over to Bob Gamble for the official introduction.
Yes, and it already has been a lot of fun. We've gotten started on it, and it's really cool to have Maggie on tonight. Maggie is not only a brand new club member, she joined in July. Maggie is a brand new triathlete. And when she joined in July, she started swimming right after that. So it's like she's been swimming for a couple of months now. But what she did is it's just so amazing to have her on here and to hear her story, because she joined in July. She did our aqua bike. Then her and her family drove down from Mesquite. She's from Mesquite, and did the club triathlon in August 28th, and finished it. And she had just started swimming like 6 weeks before. So I'm thinking this is pretty impressive. So Maggie, welcome. Thanks for doing this. And let's get started by saying, what on earth made you want to just start jumping into triathlon with both feet like you did?
A very long pandemic and being locked down with 6 children made me want to do this for sure.
And 6 children, that is absolutely amazing. I mean, you look so young. It's like, and you've got 6 kids, and 4 of them came down with your club, the club race that joined you down there, and along with your husband. So you've got a good support crew back there.
Yes, they're good cheerleaders and they're great helpers as well.
And it's I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I said they're eager to be out there, like they're happy and they're supportive and stuff. It's great.
And it sounds like you are actually getting them involved too, because your son, your 2-year-old, was there on his bicycle, and he was being like mom on the bicycle.
Yeah, he was ready to go. He was upset that I left him to do the actual race. He wanted me to take him along the whole race.
Ride with me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, just to get started, the pandemic, I guess, had you, locked in, and you weren't doing a whole lot. And so, where did you get started, and how did you get started? And what was the first event you did? Because I understand you didn't do a lot of sports in high school from such a tiny high school.
Yeah.
So how did you get started?
So it was really just like one of those crazy things that popped in my head, because when the pandemic hit, they closed down the schools. So I had to be a full-time mom, teacher, everything for these kids. And after a full year to the date, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to get out. I need to, have some me time. And I realized that I didn't have a lot of me time with all of these children and all of these things going on. So I started carving out a little bit of time in the mornings from 5 to 6 in the morning. And I had a neighbor let me borrow his bike. And I was riding his bike until I busted it. Like, I broke the back wheel. And that's when I went to All In Cycles. And Mike helped me get a new bike.
Mike Gomes.
Yeah.
Mike Gomes and his All In Cycles. He has a cycle shop there in Mesquite.
Yeah.
That's lucky. Great that you got hooked up with him.
Yeah. So he's the one that, helped me find a right bike. And I just started riding my bike from there. And I wanted to do more. I wanted to get into an event. I wanted to have like a goal to look forward to, but I didn't know what I was supposed to do. So I asked him to help me find people, and he told me about the club. So I went online, saw the club, I joined, and when I went to the first event, I was really just going to spectate. I had really never touched water, never been in open water, nothing. And when I got there, and I was greeted by you, Bob, and you told me, "Are you going to race today?" I was like, Sure. I've never done it, but sure. And you're like, okay, how long have you been doing this? I'm like, 2 weeks. And you're like, oh my gosh, okay. And that's when John came over, and you guys both were so great. And you guys helped me get through the first swim, which is awesome.
Oh, that is so absolutely so wonderful to hear. And yes, John, you will come to learn that is an amazing man, and he's going to give you the shirt off his back as far as for helping you to get in any way he can. So I'm glad you got hooked up with John right away.
I feel honored, by the way, sir. Like, I didn't realize who you were when you were first swimming with me. You were so nice, and you gave me a lot of pointers that helped out, and you were great. So thank you.
Well, thank you, but really, we have so many great club members that are just welcoming, and so this is really neat to hear, though, that you came. I didn't know that you came down to spectate, and then all of a sudden,
we talked her into
swimming. That is fantastic. I mean, that going from just going ready to just sort of see what it's all about to literally diving in with both feet. Is
literally diving in with both feet and just jumping in. And I mean, you're brave. You've been in the water for two weeks, didn't know how to swim, and then you jump into open water in Lake Las Vegas, that one, right? When you came down for that. And and swam, and you apparently did pretty good. You must be have some good genes and some natural athletic abilities.
I don't know about all that, but it was great.
Well, I certainly think you have the right mindset, and this is so, really great to hear you starting with just a barrel bike and just saying, okay, I'm going to start exercising early in the morning before everything gets rolling. I mean, that takes dedication, and that takes a good mindset to take this on. So when
every journey starts somewhere, and I mean, every one of us has a story about something such as jumping in the pool, swimming 25 yards to the other side, stopping and catching your breath, and then swimming back 25 yards to get started. But then there's all these milestones that you keep hitting. So it does improve, and it does, you've taken the first step. Well,
yeah, even in just such a short period. So the first aqua bike that I did, John helped me do it, and we only got to the first buoy before I had to go back just because I couldn't do it. And the second time I did all of it. Like, I did the whole thing, and I was shocked at myself because that was the second time I was in open water. So I didn't think I was going to get that far. So it was really, really great to see how far I can push myself without it being hard, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun.
And it shouldn't be. So you have the right attitude. It's like you went out to the buoy, came back, and then you did it again, and you weren't nervous or really stressed, and you relaxed, and you could swim. I mean, that's so fantastic. And I hope other people are hearing this. The fact that you can start like that and be comfortable and relaxed and without a lot of expectations to go fast, knowing that you're going to keep going.
Yeah. There was a member there, I can't remember her name, but she was pretty helpful because when I was almost done, I started to get a little bit panicky because I noticed that I was last again. And I was about to give up, and she's like, don't give up. Remember that you're doing this for you. And as long as you're better than yourself, right? And I was like, true. Last time I couldn't even do this. She's like, you're almost done. So it helped me get through. I mean, just other people's positivity and good comments when I was not in a good state of mind. And then I reminded myself to start being nicer and to finish.
That's great. And that's the neat thing about doing this with a bunch of other people, because we're, everyone's trying to encourage each other, and that's neat. But let's rewind a little bit. And coming down for that first aqua bike, you said you were doing some swimming, and I know you mentioned before we started that you've made some big improvements in that. Tell us about getting started with either the running and the biking and swimming. What was that like, and compare it to where you are now?
So the swimming was interesting because I went down to the pool not knowing anything, and there was a few people there at 5 a.m, older people, and they were like, "Are you the life coach?" And I was like, "No, I am a newbie, never touched water." And they're like, "Oh no, okay, we'll help you." So they started giving me some tips. I didn't have goggles, I didn't have a head cap, I didn't have a towel, I didn't bring shoes. I mean, I was a wreck. I just went in with a bathing suit and nothing else. And when I got out, I was so cold. I did horrible. I mean, but they kept giving me tips. Okay, so keep your hands pointed, make sure that your toes are pointed out, make sure that you're breathing in the opposite direction to where your stroke is, and all these little tips helped me. And going from not even being able to do 2 strokes, like I couldn't do 2 strokes, and now I can do 2 laps and
Oh,
stop.
that is huge.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
so it's awesome.
Yeah, no, and it's so great that you're doing this on your own, and but yet you're getting pointers from people, but you're sticking with it and showing some improvement. All right, so now how about you said you started on a borrowed bike, and
Yeah.
the bike didn't last?
Yes, it didn't last, so I ended up telling my neighbor, "Can I buy the bike off of you?" He's like, "No, it's I really like this bike." I'm like, "Oh, I really like it too." So I ended up buying it off of him. He felt sorry for me. He's like, "Okay, I'll let you buy it off from me for $20."
Oh,
So
nice.
Oh
yeah,
no.
so he was really nice about it. And when I went to the shop to get it fixed, Mike's like, "Well, this is just an older bike. Why don't we get you with a newer, better bike?"
Oh,
And he hooked me up with a newer bike. It was the fixie bike that I took to the second
okay.
meet. Yeah. So
Well, that's
Could you tell the difference? I mean, the bike that Mike put you on?
yes, and the mountain bike that he gave me for the first race, there's also a huge difference from that one in the fixie, and those are things that I had no idea. When I went to the first meet,
Mhm.
Mike told me to take the mountain bike. And I was
yeah.
like, "Well, I really like my fixie. I really like it." And he's like, "Well, the other one's gonna help you out more."
Mhm.
And I listened. And the second time I said, "I'll take the fixie. I can do it." And it was so hard. I finished, but it was just so much harder.
You rode a fixie on when you did that second triathlon?
Yes.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness, that's a hilly course.
yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know you were on a single speed. Good grief.
Yes.
You're tough.
Okay, so Maggie, you definitely have grit and you found the right sport. So this is really neat to hear. All right, so I love the idea of starting on a mountain bike because that's a great bike to start on,
Yeah.
especially on this type of course down here. So when you got out of the swim though, what were you thinking about for the aqua bike? You're getting on your bike and felt pretty comfortable at that point?
At that point, I couldn't believe it. Like it was still surreal to me. Like, wow, I just finished. I couldn't believe that I had done that. Like my brain had a little bit of hard time catching up to what I just did, and my nerves had set in. I wanted to just get going. So that's where my mindset was mostly.
That's a great point because you do get down to swim and it is further than it looks like, especially when you're standing up on the shore, and then you get down there and it's like that's a little further than what it looked like. So that's a huge
Buoys are out
accomplishment
there.
just to get out of the swim. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, and then I didn't realize that open water is just vastly different than being in a pool. You have the water shooting up. I mean, there's just like very little control I felt. And so when I got out of there, I felt really accomplished, but it's just surreal. I can't explain it.
That's
No, no,
great.
and that's one of the things that I really love about seeing new triathletes do
Mhm.
this, realizing the fact that might be it's kind of an indescribable accomplishment, but you swam and you couldn't see the bottom, and that was the first
Mhm.
time that you did that, and then
Yeah.
you went and you turned a buoy, and there was another one a pretty long ways off, and you made it to it and made it back in, and when you touch the ground again, that's an accomplishment. But
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that you allowed yourself to realize what you did.
That's right.
Everybody has to do that.
Mhm.
You really, that's great that you did that.
Mhm.
And I'm glad that other people are hearing this. You got to give yourself kudos for these initial accomplishments.
Yeah.
So
I mean, even after the swim and I got into the bike, when I had done about 10 miles, I kind of threw myself a pity party because I knew I was dead last. So I got off my bike and I was so frustrated. I was like, why am I here? I can't do this. And then I was like, wait a second. I'm like almost finished. I have like 2 miles to go. I need to stop with this mindset and just keep going. Just finish what I started. And that's how I got through it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Maggie, you hit it well because every time I saw you out
There's a
there, you
big
were
smile.
smiling and just having
Yeah.
a great time. So that is really interesting to hear that you were struggling, but yet you didn't show it. And so that's really neat.
And that's also important in triathlon. You don't let anybody know you're hurting.
Yeah, I
Especially
mean,
the
and
people
it
you're
was
trying to
fun.
pass.
Yeah,
Say
like it
again?
really was fun. Everything was great. So that my smiling was genuine. I was actually glad that when I threw myself the pity party, there was nobody really around.
I love it. So coming into the race, what was the furthest that you had biked?
um, 10 miles.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow.
So I had to do the 2 extra that I had never even done. Like I had no clue what I was getting myself
We had all
into.
kind of firsts, all kind of, milestones. So set me straight here. You did the aqua bike on a mountain bike, and then you did the second triathlon on your fixie.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
So what
All
did,
right.
go ahead. Go ahead,
Yeah,
John.
no, I was just gonna say, I mean, and that bike course you now know is a pretty hilly course, and
You
that's a
need
challenging
gears.
course for
You need
everyone.
gears.
Yeah, for sure. Now I know that. I
All right.
needed to learn that for myself, I guess.
Okay, so now you're coming down that hill on the aqua bike, and you had to feel pretty good at that point that you did both the swim and the bike
Coming
at
into
that.
the finish line, yeah. How'd
Yeah,
that
when I
feel?
was yeah, it was great. When I was almost to the finish line, like quarter mile left, I was like that one hill right before
Yeah.
you go down.
Mhm.
I was just like smiling but running out of breath, and some of the girls passed by. They're like, "We're all waiting for you. You can do it." I was like, "Okay." So that helped me finish strong. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't have everybody keep waiting, and it's getting hot out here."
Oh,
So
oh, that's
I know
great. Yeah, yeah, that's neat. You had your husband and kids there, and that's a neat celebration at that point.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
So then you finished the aqua bike, and you're like, okay, well now I got to do the triathlon.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
how soon after the aqua bike did you realize, hey, I'm gonna add a run onto this one? How
As
soon
soon
did
as
you
I got
sign up?
back, I remember as soon as I got back, I was like, okay, so now I have to start on my run because I had also never ran.
Mhm.
So I was like, how am I gonna do this? And I started watching videos on, starting to run for beginners. So I started on the treadmill. That way, whenever I started getting uncomfortable, I would just hit stop or get off.
Mm.
And now I can do it in the gym, treadmill, or just running on the track.
I love your attitude. I mean, you are just taking it on and really just
Can do.
getting fit. So this is really neat to hear.
Yeah, I've always been heavy set, so I wanted to change that. And my family comes with a lot of excuses because we're all my family's heavy set. So they're like, oh, it's genetic. Oh, it's our metabolism. And I'm like, no, just doing this from April to September, I've lost 46 pounds.
Oh my
No
goodness.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, I'm still not finished. My goal is
Yeah.
to get to a normal weight.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
What you're doing, your goal of getting more active and doing, different, longer rides and longer swims, the weight is incidental. Don't worry about it. Your fitness is improving, your health is
Mhm.
improving. I mean, and your attitude and if you're happy, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry about well, I shouldn't be offering advice, but the weight that's secondary. Don't
Well, I
put
think
as much importance on them.
what Bob's we're getting at is that if you keep doing the training, the weight will manage itself. And so
Yeah,
that is
that's
really
what I was trying to say.
yeah. So
Yeah.
You don't have to focus on that.
Well, it's kind of been that way this whole time too. I haven't really been obsessed about too many things. I just decided to start going, just keep in motion. And that's like I lost all this weight and I didn't realize it because I wasn't too fixated on that. My fixation was I really want to complete an Ironman one day. So
Oh,
Right.
I love it.
Yeah, listen to that. There's no
yeah,
doubt in my mind you're going to do it too. I mean,
so I have to work on that 1%, you know, just try to get 1% better than myself so that I can complete this mission that I have for myself.
you just mentioned two things that I want to make sure that everybody realizes what you said and you realize what you said. The two things that you realize that John, it took him 5 years to beat it into my head, my thick skull, and that is consistency. It's,
Hmm.
these super hard workouts, if you do them once a week, they're insignificant compared to working a little bit every day and and just constant, and consistency. So you're already on that. You're
Yeah.
head and shoulders above a lot of people who are just getting started. You realize consistency. The other thing you said that I'm really impressed with is the fact that if you're improving 1%, you're improving.
Hmm.
And whether it's swim, bike, run, transition, weight on your bicycle or whatever it is, all those 1% add up. So you got the right mindset there as well. So
Yeah.
how did you learn this? I mean, what gave you these realizations? Consistency and the 1%.
You know, I don't really have a lot of people around me that are athletes, so I had to rely a lot on Facebook and just hearing a bunch of motivational speeches. I started listening to athletes
Mhm.
um, and just what they say. And a lot of athletes say, you know, take it easy, be kind to yourself, you know, don't, you know, at first, whenever I would try to work out before, I was always super hard on myself. And whenever I would lose my breath, I would say like, "Oh my gosh, you're so fat. That's why you're out of breath."
Mhm.
Not knowing that this body is a machine, and you need to give it time to adjust. And you need to give it
Time
time to
to
get
adapt.
better. You know, yeah. And those are the things that I learned now. And when I started this, that's what I told myself. I'm not gonna quit. I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go. I didn't give myself like you have to go at this speed or you have to do this. I just told myself you have to go and you can't stop. And that's what I've been doing. And sometimes I still feel discouraged and I'm like, okay, I don't want to do anything today. But then if I do skip my workout that day, I feel like I haven't done anything. The rest of the day feels wasted. So
Mhm.
now it's a lifestyle and I like it.
Oh, that is great,
And that's
Maggie. I'll
another
tell you,
thing, the
it,
lifestyle thing. Go
yeah,
ahead.
this is really great to hear. And one, you're a leader in your family, and that's neat to hear this story of getting started and this long-term goal of an Ironman. That's such a great stretch goal to go at. And I can tell with your attitude you're going to do it. All
Thank
right, so
you.
now let's continue our journey though for this year. And you did the aqua bike. Now talk us through getting down for the first triathlon. You come down and now you've got to do all three sports. What were you thinking about? You came down early and helped set up, by the way. That was awesome.
Yeah, you and your family
Yeah, well,
help
I was
set up.
super nervous. I just wanted to get there and see what the course was going to be like. Um, I mostly did it for that. I wanted to make sure that I got the full feel of it to see if this was something that I was going to want to pursue. So I talked my husband into going early. I told him what my plan was, and he's like, "Go get it, baby." So he got up with me, helped me pack the car. I have a horrible memory, so he made sure that everything was done so that we could go up there. And yeah, when I got there, I was nervous. I'm like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't go and talk to them. They're the only ones here. And he's like, no, you go and you tell them that you want to help out, that you want to learn, and they're not going to turn you away. So
Well,
he's the
he's
one
a
that helped
smart
me.
man. He's a smart
Yeah.
man.
So he helped me get the confidence to go up and ask you guys if you needed help. And
Yeah,
yeah, it's awesome.
And
that's
you're
great.
also really smart. That's fantastic that you realize if you just go and be around the setup and see how the triathlon unfolds and see how it is set up and the sequence and everything, it's making you a better triathlete because you know what's coming.
Yeah.
That was very smart, very smart.
All right, so walk us through your day on that on the start of the swim and doing the bike and the run. Tell us how that all went.
So that was before the swim, I was telling the kids, because they wanted to help me with my transitions, because they noticed the first aqua bike, when it finished, the kids noticed that Kyle, the winner, his transition was like swift, and that
Yep.
he was just so much faster. So they're like, Mom, we're gonna help you. So before the swim, they helped set up my towels, my shoe, and all my stuff that I was gonna need for the bike.
Yep.
And as soon as I finished the swim, when I was getting out, my kids had the towel. One of them had my jacket. They had my
That's so
shoes.
fun.
Yeah, my son was helping me dry off my feet to put on the socks. It was great. And then they helped me run the I started running, but I was a little bit out of breath from the swim.
Yeah.
And my husband's like, so help me if I beat you in this run. And I'm like, okay, I want to, you beat me. So then I ran to the transition to get onto my bike. That's cool.
Oh, that's fun. It's so cool that the whole family was involved in it.
Yeah, they know
that's
my
good.
shortcomings. They know that it doesn't take a lot for me to get frustrated, but it also doesn't take a lot for me to get going again.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's great. Okay, so we've already heard a little bit about the bike, doing it on a different bike for this race. And now you're coming down the hill, getting ready for the run. What's going through your mind?
Well, actually, on the way down from the hill, I hurt my ankle. So I was like, oh my gosh, should I do this run? Should I not do this run? What should I do? What should I do? So I got off the bike. I told my husband, my ankle's hurting. What do I do? He's like, I think you're going to kick yourself all the way home if you don't at least try. So try. If it starts hurting more, stop. So that's what I did. I started running and I'm like, nope, it's shooting pain. I need to stop. So I stopped, and I was disappointed that I didn't finish the run. But like my husband says, I need to learn to recover,
That's right.
and
Oh, good
just,
grief, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you stop so you can run another day, and you don't want to do any more damage. And that was absolutely the smartest, best thing to do. You get a pain like that, it's not a soreness, it's not a sore muscle, it's not just that you're tired, it hurts, so you stopped. And that's absolutely, that was smart.
Yeah, no, and it really is, and again, that's a sign of just such a great attitude that you have, and triathlons is all about solving problems, and sometimes you do need to just say, okay, this is not the day to keep pushing on this type of pain. So that's really good.
And
But
it sounds like
still,
you learn on the way, learn on the fly.
but still a huge accomplishment to do a swim, a bike, and the run. That's really fantastic.
Yeah, even on just the training for the run, I couldn't even do 5K.
Yeah.
So I started training for that. And at first, my time per mile was 17 minutes. I was horrible, like almost like I'm walking. And now they're at 9 minutes, still very slow, but
No
it's like
kidding.
huge
Awesome.
improvement.
That's not super slow. Gosh,
I
give
think
yourself a
it's
break.
slow. Oh, man.
And even at 17 minutes a mile, you are much faster than everybody else sitting on the couch and not doing anything.
That's what I kept telling myself every
Yeah.
time. I was like, oh, I would look at those times. I'm like, it's okay. I'm going faster than I was when I was sitting in my house.
That's right. And as John had told me, you go slow, give your body time to adapt. It will adapt. Just have patience.
That's true.
And it obviously has.
All right, so I know we talked ahead of time. You don't have a race signed up for yet, but what is 2022? What are your sights set on in the next year?
It's an interesting question because I feel a little bit lost. Like I said, I don't have very many athletic people around me. So I'm not sure how to get into these different types of races and stuff, or how to properly train. I wish there was somebody here closer to me that I could ask all these questions to, like training, basically.
Oh, Maggie, we're
Training.
going to get you some help. We're there. I know someone's going to be listening to this, and they're going to adopt you for an athlete. You have such a great attitude. It's going to be fun to connect you with some people to get some help, because it's overwhelming. Just thinking about all the different things to do to get ready for an event. So
There's so much that you don't even know you don't know yet.
Yes. I didn't know how much I really didn't know when I went to the first meet. I mean, it
It's a
was
good
so,
thing.
yeah, I was talking to my older brother about it, and he's like, it's such a different thing from coming from a family. I mean, my parents have never stepped foot in a gym, seriously.
Yep.
So this is just monumental for me, and oh, I just want to keep going.
You know, just real quick, Mike Gomes would be a good resource just to go. I know he's going to have rides, and he will know people who ride in your area. And don't worry so much about training as much as just go out and ride
Have
and
fun.
just have fun. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
and you said it yourself. It's a lifestyle. It's not a. This isn't your profession. So you know,
right.
you just get involved and go out and do some running and stuff, and things will fall into place. And I know, as John said, there are going to be people, you know, everyone in the club wants you to succeed, wants everyone else in the club to succeed. And so you're going to get a lot of help and advice. And you just reach out to either one of us too, you know,
Thank-
whenever you have a question.
Yeah, you guys have been really helpful this far, and a lot of the members from the club are also have been really helpful.
Yep.
The first time I went there, it was just incredible to see all of the support. I had never had so much support,
Yeah.
so I love it.
Well, that is great. And we're going to surround you with people to help out. Maggie, I am so glad we've had you on this spotlight tonight because this is going to be fun to see your trajectory continue with triathlon. And I'm excited about eventually seeing you at a race in 2022, and I see it happening. So, Maggie, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story and giving us some insight in terms of where you're at.
Thank
Yeah,
you guys for
and
having me.
you know, massive kudos for all of your courage coming on here, doing your first triathlon, doing your first aqua bike, just showing up. Really, give
Yeah.
yourself some pats on the back for all this.
I love it.
All right. Wonderful having you here. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you guys too.
All right. Have a nice evening.
You too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.